I had fully intended today on taking Lenny to go look at this bus for sale. It's on Facebook Marketplace in the next county over. It's only about 30 miles away, but it's going to be 102 degrees today. And although Lenny has air conditioning, driving down the road, it doesn't work so good. There's a lot of air infiltration and stuff. So we're not going to take Lenny today. We're going to load up the Tahoe over there. We're going to take the Tahoe that has very nice air conditioned seats. That'll be much more comfortable today. All right, so we're gonna go look at this coach that's for sale. It's on Facebook Marketplace. You can see it's a couch conversion, which means it has a futon couch in it, I'm sure. But it just, all seriousness, it says the clutch is bad on it. So it should mean that it's running, and it was driving until the clutch went out, so it should be operational. There's no pictures of the engine or anything, so we're gonna go take a look at it and see what's going on with it. I would be buying this to just do some work on it and try and resell it to save it. I'm not looking to, make big money on it. The bus, there's not a lot of profit margins there. It's worth about $5,000 if it's running and driving, and since the clutch is out in it, it's not worth that. So let's go take a look at it and at least get an idea of what condition it's in, see if it's possible where we can just save it and find a new home for it. Initial looks, it looks nice on the outside. I bought a running driving, that one that we had, for $1,500. So it looks to be maybe similar condition to that, except for the clutch is out. So that's another $1,000 for the clutch, and then maybe $1,500, $2,000 have somebody put it in. And if the flywheel needs some work on it, then that's more money that's up in the air. So let's get it running here and see what's going on with the engine and the clutch. Maybe it's just out of adjustment. So we'll take a look at it. But initially, it's got some corrosion on it. It's an old bus. It's an old 4104. This is about how they all look when they've been sitting for a while. And this one's been sitting here. It was towed into this location over a year ago. All right, we have barred the engine over a couple revolutions to make sure all the injectors are firing. Now we're going to remove the valve cover and make sure that the rack is freely moving so there's no stuck injectors. We don't want to risk a runaway. All right, well, we can't get the valve cover off because this homemade contraption air filter they've added is in the way, and you can't get the valve cover off. Back there too. Yeah, that homemade air filter thing is in the way. Well, we took down the air filter housing. This is the air filter that somebody has in there. Completely, it was keeping mice and stuff out, but it ain't keeping dirt out of the engine. They've actually cut an air filter into a tiny little sliver of an air filter where there's no way to restrict the air. And then the inside piece is just like a piece of furnace filter that you can literally see through it. That's the air filter that's been filtering the air for this engine, which is not good. And it looks like it's been in there a while. So somebody definitely did a very big disservice to this engine by doing this. That is not an air filter. The rack is freely moving, nothing stuck. We're going to put the valve cover back on just so no dirt or anything flies in there when we start the engine. The bus is so far on the ground, the exhaust is actually holding the rear of the bus up. I just want to make sure the exhaust wasn't crushed. That would be bad to try and start a two-stroke with the exhaust blocked on it. There is some issues on the metal supports here for the cradle that are broken and stuff under there too. They just have one small car battery in this thing it's dead. It's like 11, I think it was 11.6, so very, very dead. And with the jump pack here, we're going to try and start it, but I don't have a lot of high hopes with it. I figured it had two decent batteries in it since it did run, that we'd be able to start it up. So clearly we'll see what happens here, but let's just take a quick tour of the bus here before we start it. It has been converted. It's a very dated conversion. This little kind of chrome bumper thing that's supposed to be on this little door here is missing, but he said it's inside of this little compartment here underneath the driver. So we'll open this up here. This will show us the serial number and everything too if we can get in here in this little compartment. And yeah, that missing piece of trim and then that bumper or whatever it's called is in there. But looks pretty clean under here. Most of them don't look this clean, so that's a good sign. There's the serial number, 2633 is what it says. But yeah, it doesn't look like a complete disaster under there. Some wires off and different stuff. I'll have to kind of figure out what's going on there. The front looks decent on it. You can actually see Greyhound still on the side on it a little bit. You can see where some numbers were at and stuff. It could clean up nice. A little bit of buffing on the paint and stuff, and maybe repaint the roof or whatever. But this window's going to need to get replaced. That D window's missing. I don't know if any of the frame is there for it, or if you can just get glass made for it. That handle somebody's added and it's pulled off. But yeah, going inside, it's all carpeted. It doesn't smell bad. A lot of times buses smell when they got carpeting, especially with they leak and stuff. Very, very stock driver area. Some of the gauges need some work and stuff like that. Some of them missing some covers and stuff. But as you see, it's a very dated conversion. This little fridge don't really belong there. Futon couch, a little dinette, kitchenette. Normally the fridge would be back here on the right, an RV fridge. It's missing. They have that little fridge up front. Some of the windows obviously need to be replaced. There's broken glass and stuff, but all that stuff is available. That's flat glass. You can have them made. It's got a decent little shower in here, and toilet and sink. I would say it's in relatively usable condition. I'm sure you're going to want to remodel it or something, but I've seen a heck of a lot worse. I don't know that you have to do a complete gut job on this one. I think you got some stuff you could work with here and make it decent. A little bit of water damage I see down there in the bottom corner. Stuff you got to watch out for, because the floor on these buses are plywood as well, so you could run into some issues there. Yeah, this is where an RV fridge would normally go, on the bottom there. But yeah, it's a decent. It could be usable for somebody. It's a home done conversion, but it's not terrible. This emergency shutdown flapper is seized. It won't move on it. So we don't want to risk starting the engine without that working. So we're going to leave the hose off for the intake, and then we have a board here that we're going to put over the top of it if we need to shut it down. But it's a steel rod going through an aluminum housing, and it's just seized up over time.
I'm gonna put on the speaker, Jake. He's trying, you hear it?
Yeah, we're just not going to get enough power to start this with that one little car battery they have in there and that's dead, and then the jump pack. So I got some batteries at home. We'll come back another day with some group or 8D batteries that get supposed to have and put them in there and get this thing fired up. Okay, so we packed the jump pack, the Ocotel power station, some jacking pads, so when we jacked it up, we wouldn't sink into the ground. I got a couple of those in here. Some good quality flashlights, set of wrenches, a fire extinguisher just in case, plenty of wood blocking, a couple different socket ratchet sets. We got the air compressor that we're running off of this to fill it up, and also use the air over hydraulic jacks. Make sure the alternator is charging and battery voltage. A few different pairs of odds and ends on pliers. These little mini wrenches came in handy. Paper towels. We got some Gojo wipes. Various pry bars and screwdrivers. One of the magic creepers to lay down on outside, so you don't have to lay in the dirt or the gravel or who knows what's on the ground. With my luck, it's usually like sticker bushes where a bus is sitting. So this magic creeper turns out nice. A couple of impacts, some more wrench sets. So starting fluid, just in case. Oh, and soap bubbles, so you can check for air leaks. So we did pack a pretty good assortment of stuff. Kind of flopped around back here on the trip. And a couple of different air fittings for us to be able to air up the bus, hooking our compressor to it. A lot of which we couldn't do because the bus was so far down on the ground. I didn't, and he had a pancake compressor there that he said he tried to air it up with, and it just ran forever and nothing happened. So there's obviously a big enough air leak, more than what that air compressor type of air compressor can handle. So yeah, now we gotta put all our tools back away. I'm going to grab these good 8D batteries that I have in the Scenic Cruiser. We'll get them topped off, and we'll have these to take over there if we get over there next week or so.
Back in there. Just doing something. I don't know what.
It's supposed to take the
I guess that works.
load off the wheels. I'll hold this. Definitely been some rodents on top of there. They are very freaking heavy. Let's get a face full of mouse shit. I can't lift those in and out of here by myself. It's impossible. For as high up as they are. Nice. Scenic Cruiser is looking good sitting out here. That one was at 12.4 and that one's at 12.6. So we're just gonna throw them on the charger here for a little bit, get them topped off, and then they'll be ready to go. But I figured they were still charged good over there. They've been disconnected, so they're from 2022. Well, if I buy this bus, it's just going to be for me to find a new home for it. It's not something for me. So I have to be out of town for a business trip. It's a holiday Monday, and then I'm out of town the rest of the week, and I'll be back the following week. So if the bus is still available, I'll make a trip over there and get it running and see if the clutch is out. We did adjust it. There was zero free play on it whatsoever, so it could just be out of adjustment. I don't know, but we had to turn the dial about 20 full revolutions maybe to get it where there was free play. So there's a chance that it was just way out of adjustment, but I wouldn't really hold my breath on that. But yeah, if somebody wants to buy it, or it's close enough where we could go over there and work on it and put a new clutch in it there, it'd be cheaper than having it towed probably. A tow that 30 miles to us is probably $1,500. So that's most of your labor for having a clutch put in. So I would be willing to go do that. But again, if I buy it, I'm just going to flip it. I'm not looking to make money on it. Hopefully the person who buys it wants to do some work on it or something maybe. In worst case scenario, though, we're just helping it find a new home and get back on the road, because as it sits right now, it's worth more money as a parts bus than it is a running driving bus.